You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite
Welcome to episode number 1 of the Batters. I am your host, Daniel
Look at
Granado.
that. Blast from the
Last
past.
we got my man, Chris Duran.
What up? Good. You know, talking about soccer. I mean, it's a new world for me, but you know, it is what it is.
We're going to get somebody like Messi next year. We're going to get somebody like Messi next year.
And you called that.
There we go. Let's start it over. Chris, they're on to back for the 200th time. How are you doing, sir?
I came rushed, but it is what it is. We got to show up for the 200th, and it's going to be juicy today.
Yeah, I forgot that I had thrown in that throwback to the very first episode where Chris was looking like he was living in a dungeon. And if you guys noticed, the first time we came around for the first couple episodes, we actually had a third host, Mr. Benjamin Borges. If you guys are into the Canes, he has a You Heard podcast, which is doing very well for itself. So if you're a Canes fan, go check that out. But for episode number 200, and I mean, for basically now on, maybe not a full 3-man show all the time, but we do have another member of the Battered Herons, 200 shows later, and here we are going to bring him onto the screen right now. How are you, Mr. Daniel Solana?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm doing fantastic. There was a lot of rumors that you were traded or on loan to Orlando City. There was another rumor that you had replaced your face with my face and that you were doing the shows with my face. Bro, it got crazy the last 7 days doing the shows. But, hey, I got some champagne for you guys. I said I would. And happy 200th. And just glad to be on with you guys.
Yes, awesome. I wanted some aguardiente. Didn't have time to go out and get it. But, yes, episode number 2. We've done the 200 times, Chris. 200 times, man. And let's see. We should. Well, let's see when we get to 300. But it's been fun, and the chat's always been rocking with us, and we appreciate everybody joining us now and whoever's watching this later. So, but we did come on at an odd time, 7:30. We usually come on at 9 o'clock, but the Florida Panthers are in the Stanley Cup final. There's a good chance that they raise that Stanley Cup tonight, which everybody is excited for to get out the pots and pans and all that good stuff. So we wanted to get on before that so everybody can run off and watch it, us included. So here we go. You ready for some? Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, also a little odd that we come on a Tuesday night. Usually we do Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But starting today, moving on forward, we will also be doing Tuesdays. Solana will be the face of the Tuesdays, and we'll see. We'll be joining on off. We'll see who joins Solana. But Tuesday nights are Dice Dani nights. So
yeah, so I like that.
Yeah, there we go. So we'll be on Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays moving forward. So a lot of Inter Miami content coming forward. But anyway, without further ado, here we go. We wanted to get on to some of the topics at hand, and let's start with this one. Messi will retire with Miami. He came out in an interview and said he plans to retire an Inter Miami Heron. Are you guys surprised by this? Did you expect this? And how you feeling about it? I'll start over with Chris. How you feeling about the fact that we're going to get this? Well, actually, I'll ask that question later. How are you feeling about the news, Chris?
Well, I think it's really going to be fun to know that he's going to be playing here in his last days. And not only that, but like now we're really going to see that stadium packed, knowing that everyone is going to have to come to Miami to watch one of the arguably one of the greatest player of all time in soccer.
Well, one thing that I'm wondering is I think he's going to be here till 2026. I'm wondering how expensive will that retirement game be? Are you going to sell that ticket, Chris? Because that's going to be expensive.
It's a gift and a curse, right? Because you could sell it for big money, but at the same time you sell it, you're not in it. Right. You didn't experience it.
Or you could just sell it and leave your son at home.
Yeah.
And keep your ticket.
Exactly. Yeah, I could do that and just sell my other ticket and pay for the entire season for the next.
Then your son's gonna hate you forever, like in that movie with Will Ferrell, where he hates his dad because his dad steals the Pele ball from him. You don't want to be that guy, bro. You don't want to be in Kicking and Screaming. Chris, Kicking and Screaming Part 2. Didn't take his son to the Messi game. Don't want to be that guy, bro.
No, I don't want to be that guy.
Solana, were you surprised at all by the news? I kind of figured it. Were you surprised?
I don't think so. I think maybe if you would have asked me this a year ago, I would have said yes. But seeing as how accommodated he's been in Miami since he's got here, he's just fit in perfectly. I mean, you see him and Antonella going out 3-4 times a week. They're dressed up. Him in his baggy shirts. He's looking nice. They've acclimated to Miami, and I think you're gonna see other players start to come. One of them you mentioned him, Danny, and that's Neymar. And I think the reason that Messi is going to retire is he'll probably end up signing one more year. He has that option. We've talked about it. And the next big giant to join will probably be Neymar. I think we've talked about it on this show. And I think that, if you were a betting man, I think, Danny, you would definitely, put your paycheck on
I'd
that.
take that bet. Oh, yeah. I've been talking about that whole Neymar and them overlapping for 1 year for a while, but we're going to get to that in a second. Just the next bit of news. They finally announced the stadium. They finally broke ground. It's going to be, they said that the date that it will be finally completed is estimated to be December of 2025, meaning 2026 season is when we will finally be able to go and attend games at the Miami Freedom Park. The capacity will be 28,000. I was hoping for the 30,000, but 28,000 is still a nice stadium. This is a rendering of what the inside of the stadium is supposed to look like. Any surprises from you guys for that? Because everybody was saying the middle of 2025. I always thought that was going to be kind of weird because how do you transition the season ticket holders from one stadium to the next in the middle of the season? I thought that might be difficult. Turns out that we're just going to have to wait till 2026.
I mean, if you're asking me, I'm not surprised at that at all. I mean, we've seen since the beginning, the project has just been, going at like a tortoise pace. And I'm not surprised. Now, over the last couple of years, they've finally started to get things moving. I think the fact that they're going to open it at the end of 2025 is very strategic. And Chris, you chime in on this and see if I'm like a crazy theory guy or if I have something. But Messi's contract finishes that year, so they can technically kind of extend him. So Messi could open the new stadium in 2026. They might be able to host, some sort of pre-games, World Cup pre-games. I don't know, of Argentina there. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like there's going to be an Argentina, Inter Miami, Messi somewhat tie-in into the new stadium. Do you think you call me crazy, or what do you think?
No, man, I definitely see that happening. I mean, there's a reason why the speculation is that this is going to be his last team. And then to carry that over, right, there is a possibility that they will extend him. And now people are mentioning here should have been 35K at least. Skrilla said he thought it was 25. Somebody mentioned he thought that thought it was Lionel Monaco said should have been at least 50,000. You can't do that kind of stadium, especially after Messi leaves, because you're not going to anticipate the same crowd with Messi not being there.
And just real quick, Chris, just my understanding is Geodis Park for Nashville is the largest MLS stadium, right? Other teams play in football stadiums and stuff, but MLS stadium, that's their stadium, 30,000, I believe, is the largest stadium, and that would be Geodis for Nashville. After that, BMO also for Toronto for 30,000, and then we would be third largest at 28,000.
Well, and I think it's calculated because, again, I mean, look, MLS is a growing league. And at this point, we're growing as we see. I mean, the MLS is growing right in front of our eyes, little by little, but it's growing. So eventually we're going to get to a point where we're going to fill the stands and where people are going to have a little bit more respect for soccer in the United States. And just so you know, Nick, saying Jorge Mas said end of 2025, Jorge Mas is going to do whatever he can to get this thing done. I mean, he's contracting Pablo, Pedro, Jose, Juan. Everybody's taking care of this. Trust me, it'll be done.
They got Drive Pink, which is now Chase done in like 8 months. And mind you, the bleachers, which there are bleachers, it's not like a beautiful stadium, but it is beautiful. It is a beautiful stadium. Like
I think it's nice.
One of the nicest stadiums, I think, in MLS. Even though it was made kind of fast and kind of it is a makeshift. Well, I got a question for both of you. We're talking about Messi retiring. How does that make you feel now in terms of we've been talking about players, being rumored coming? And I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, Danny, but Di Maria. We talked about it already on the last few shows. Now that you know that Messi has said, hey, I'm going to retire here, does that convince you a little bit more that maybe Di Maria is for sure coming? Now, because there's been rattlings on all over the place. People saying he's not coming, people saying he is coming. I think Messi announcing it almost confirms that at some point, Di Maria will be wearing, the Herons the pink and black.
I agree. I think that he's coming. The question is when.
Okay.
And we're definitely getting into that, but I definitely think he's coming. The question I think is when. But here's the next bit of news. So we're gonna start talking about summer moves, rumors, possibilities, and things that have happened. For example, here Raul Sanelli, I'm assuming is how you pronounce that name, is officially a vice president, a co-president. He's co-president of football operations. And Xavi, which was doing it all, is now co-president of business operations. And we've heard a lot of good.
What the hell's Hendo?
Bad, a lot of, and Hendo is just doing his own thing. Sporting director.
Sporting director. That's correct.
Right. And then one of the things Sanelli wanted to put out there and make sure that it wasn't confused that he's not there to take Henderson's position or spot, which is what they all say. But that's what he came out and he said. Henderson is doing his own thing, still being the sporting director, and Sanelli is more of a negotiator. Salehi. Okay, thank you. Sanlehi. He is more of a negotiator. Solana, I know that you read up on him a lot. So did I. I don't know how you want to do this. Chris, before we get into our back and forth, 'cause I'm sure we can be a back and forth. Did you have any thoughts real quick on Sanlehi?
Well, Sanlehi, the one thing that I noticed about him, and I haven't done too much research, and maybe you guys can attack it a little bit after you get my, I guess, outsider's point of view. When I look at this guy, it screams Hendo replacement. That's the one thing that I'm really
thinking. Mm-hmm.
But now, and that's the thing. Look, Steve Munoz, the Don, which, by the way, it's such a pleasant thing to see Steve on this 200th episode. Steve, I have to give you a round of applause because I watched our first live, and you, by City Lucas, there's a couple other names that I want to give some respect to. You guys were one of the first people to be able to comment and hang out with us in our first live. So shout out to you, my friend. You are the true hero, along with everybody else that's in the chat. Much appreciated.
Shout out to the Don Cafecito.
Yeah, he's mentioning that he's basically showing him the way before he leaves. I really hope he doesn't leave because the things that he's done for this organization with the numbers that he's moved, honestly, it's a thing of beauty. Okay, now, but it scares me because you're bringing somebody like this guy, Raul Sanlehi, and he has experience, I guess, like as a CEO or a CFO.
Well, he worked at Nike, and then he came over to Barca to work on the marketing team.
That's right.
And he worked up the ranks and got a bigger role. I think it was 2009, 2010, becoming more of a negotiator, acquiring players, working almost like an agent for Barcelona. He was instrumental in getting Neymar. He ended up getting very close to Neymar. Ended up spending a ton of time in Brazil while Neymar was still in Santos. They say he was one of the biggest reasons they got Neymar there. And the year that Neymar left, he also left that same year, but they both left Barcelona in 2019.
He also spent time in Argentina setting up an academy for Barcelona. So he did spend a lot of time in South America before he moved back to Barcelona and was given this kind of similar position to what he has today for Inter Miami. But he was, like Danny said, more on the negotiating side. And, you know, they say he's very, very good at negotiating. A lot of reports that I've read say he's very, very good. Now, where I have my doubts about him, and Danny, if you read what I read, and then I'll tell you, I've got friends who are very close, to some people at Arsenal, and I'll tell you some inside information I got from them. But from what I hear about this,
I was also reaching out to everybody I know that has anything to do with Arsenal. So
yeah, so this guy, he doesn't have the eye for talent. That's his big issue. His biggest kind of issue at Arsenal was the whole Pepe signing. and we can get into that. We don't have to. It doesn't really matter. But
Well, my understanding is that what's one of the reasons he had to leave Arsenal is because that went into investigation.
That's correct. That's one of the 5 typical reasons that I've heard that he left Arsenal. That's one. The other one was he was a big kind of like a cheapskate. He once he got in there, he tried to do cost cutting and cut 55% of the operational jobs of people and stuff. So like he was not a very well liked guy. He also was convinced by a friend of his who owns a agency. This guy AC, he owns an agency. I think it's Arturo Canales. To bring Unai Emery to Arsenal over I believe it was I don't remember if it was Arteta or somebody else.
Luis Enrique.
And Luis Enrique. And he ended up doing that. So he's a guy who seems to be easily convinced. Now, Danny, I sent you something earlier, and then I'll let you go ahead. But I want to read this because I picked this up from his press conference, his introductory press conference. And this just sits so wrong with me. And I want folks to comment on this too, because I want to know how you guys feel about it, man. But this is what Sanlehi said. He said, right now, the U.S. is the place to be if you want to be in football. And the quality of life in South Florida everything is perfect. That just sounds like the type of guy who's coming to steal some money.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I'm not trying to get hate from anybody in Miami. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying with those kind of comments, like saying, you want to be where football is and all that, that just kind of means like you want to come and fill your pocket some way. So I get a little bit of a bad feeling about him in that way.
I don't get that sense. I think that's a very typical thought process right now. Everybody sees. I feel like the MLS right now is, I think it's very obvious, right? It's not the best league in the world, but I think it's the one that's growing in popularity the most out of any. Obviously, the other ones are more popular, but as far as growth, this one is by now growing exponentially compared to everybody else right now because of Messi, obviously, and everybody else is coming over. So I don't think that statement is that far-fetched, and South Florida is a great place to live. I think that's almost like a sales pitch.
I actually think it's a very sales pitch / recruiting pitch / anybody interested wanting to play for the MLS. Miami is the only place to go, because if you really think about it, other than the other corners, right? LAFC, LA Galaxy, Seattle, you got your New York, you got your other teams, but other than that, like Miami's it. Florida, no taxes. It's a paradise. It's a paradise in the United States.
Well, look, I went in and I reached out to people from Arsenal and friends that I know that are Arsenal fans, because I wanted to find out, why does everybody kill this guy? Why does everybody say that he's a crook? He's a fraud. So from what I've heard and what I've read, and I even went deep into Reddit to see what people were writing there.
Oof, that's a dark place.
He does, like Solana said, he doesn't really have an eye for talent, apparently. A lot of bad signings. Now, the one thing that a lot of people are saying was like fraudulent, crookish, was the Pepe signing. The Nicolas Pepe, they signed him for 72 mil. They said that he deserved nothing near that number, that nobody else was going to bid anywhere near 72 mil. But they said that he got it and that he had a backdoor deal with the agent to get broken off with some of the commission money that the agent was going to get. That was the accusation. There is no proof that that is true or that actually happened. But that was what was going on into the investigation. That's when he left Arsenal. Now, he left Arsenal and he went to Real Zaragoza or something like that. I forgot what it is. It's the second division Spanish team.
Yeah. Owned by the Mas brothers.
That's where I was going. And that team that he was running is owned by the Mas brothers, which is where the connection is. So he went from there over here because he already knows the Mas brothers. He worked with the Mas brothers over the last 2 years. Now, that team's second division, and although they've apparently developed some young talent from what I was reading, they're like bottom of the table in the second division. So it's not like they've been performing lights out either.
Well, I wanted to take you to another comment that I read from his that said, he says, I have a very clear idea of the model to run a football club. We developed that in Barca. I applied that in Arsenal and in Zaragoza. My role is to make sure that the whole football operation runs smoothly from the academy to the first team, making sure we create an identity through a development pathway. Well, like news, the time you spent in Barcelona, 2009 to 2018 or whatever, Messi was there. So you didn't do shit,
Yeah.
buddy. You didn't do shit. You rode Messi's coattails. All right. You might have brought Neymar, great. Now, fast forward to Arsenal. Arsenal didn't do nothing while you were there. Terrible signings, all that. Now you're talking about Zaragoza. And let me tell you, Danny, I did my research. I went back to look. Zaragoza, before he signed, had better points, and they've gotten worse the last 3 years. They went from 56 to 51 to 48. So they've gotten worse. So I see you want to take the glass half full here, but it's tough, man. It's tough. And trust me, I'm drinking. I'm trying to drink as much as I can.
I think this is more of a Barcelona connection, kind of like what Steve Munoz was saying earlier. I think that this is a Barcelona connection, and that's the reason he was brought over. Because it can't be from his last 2 stops because they haven't necessarily been productive. So I don't see where the draw is here. But we just have to wait and see. And I have a feeling that he is an eventual Chris Henderson replacement. But I guess we got to wait.
Before we move on, I just want to mention, because you mentioned something, Solana, that he is apparently interested in making sure that everything runs smoothly from the academy to the main team. Before he came here, we have a great academy. We have kids that are coming out of the academy playing for our first team. And that's without Messi before and with Messi now. And so what's broken, right? What exactly is broken for him to come and fix? Henderson's making all the moves. We have academy players that are flourishing, about to play for their country, starting in the men's teams. So what exactly are we fixing here? So that's kind of the scary part about this.
Well, I think he's a transition for Chris Henderson, like Steve Munoz said. And what Bruno's saying is what I was going to get to, because I was going to get to this when we talked about Neymar, is I think that this is the reason he's here.
It's so scary, though. It's so scary because what the hell's going on with that?
Let's get into this. He apparently built a very strong relationship with Neymar. He was integral, and I read that in quite a few places. He was integral in getting Neymar from Santos to Barcelona. So what's going to draw Neymar to Miami? Well, we already knew Messi was going to draw him here. But now you get this guy that apparently is close to Neymar. I don't know if they're still close, but if he got him there and he became really close to him 10 years ago, I wouldn't doubt that having him here is also another welcoming face for Neymar. Like I've said it, and I've said it time and time again. Neymar will be here 2026. He's going to overlap. Messi's last season will be 2026. Neymar's first season will be 2026. That's what I truly believe. And this just, to me, it just cements it further. Neymar is on his way to Miami, and this guy is that bridge that will negotiate or will do whatever he has to do to get Neymar over here, even though I think he was coming anyway. But this just cemented, in my opinion. Where do you guys stand on the Neymar front? Solana, where do you stand on the Neymar front?
I mean, I know Neymar's a diehard Miami Heat fan, so I had absolutely no doubt in my mind that he was coming to Miami if he comes to the MLS. No doubt in my mind. Huge Miami Heat fan. I know he's going to have those courtside seats. So, the arenas are going to be super close. I had no doubt in my mind. Now, if his buddy Messi is here and now his buddy Sanlehi's here, it's a no-brainer. I mean, no-brainer. Now, I know, folks are excited about reuniting the MSN, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think, Suarez will retire, Messi will stay, and then, maybe it'll be like a Suarez retires and Neymar starts kind of thing. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think it's a no-brainer that he comes here.
And I also don't think that Suarez and Neymar will overlap. Messi and Neymar will. I don't see Suarez overlapping with Neymar. Chris, and just to put it out there, 200 episodes ago, Chris was not a big football fan. He started watching football maybe like a year before we started doing the show. But he's been a Neymar fan for like the last 10 years. In FIFA, he would just go ahead. What team is Neymar playing for right now? Boom, pick them. Chris is a Neymar guy. So go ahead, Chris. What do you think about Neymar, your boy, joining the team?
Well, I think that he would be a lot more lively here than he is in what is it, Al Hilal or what team is he playing for out there in
Right now he's in only the major league eating competitions.
Yeah, probably. And I think that Miami would be a great place for him. And of course I would love it because I love Neymar. And when I was watching World Cups, I'd be like, Brazil, like any other bandwagon fan. I was loving Brazil. And I would cheer for USA, obviously, when they're not playing Brazil. But yeah, Neymar, I'd love to see him in pink. So
I think it's gonna happen.
Give it
They
to
might
me.
have to hire you, Chris, as his bodyguard, but not to do what Messi's bodyguard does. You're gonna have to keep him away from the strip clubs, from the clubs, from all the crazy things, because the Brazilians love to party, and there's no better place to party than South Florida. So, I think the La Familia is probably gonna personally hire you to make sure that he stays away.
I don't want to get into it right now, but just gonna leave that out there just in case somebody in the chat remembers on an episode down the line when we have nothing to talk about and we're just gas bagging. Chris was a bouncer at Bongos.
Yes, I was.
So yes, he has some stories there to tell you guys. So Chris was a bouncer at one point. All right. So Neymar, Neymar, we all agree he's coming. He will eventually be here, and I think that he's gonna be. Could you imagine that new stadium opening up with Messi and Neymar? Oof, that stadium's gonna be rocking.
And then just throw in some random Colombian.
That's what we were promised.
Like, that's it. I mean, at that point, you're gonna have to pay people to not go to the games.
Yeah.
Now, question: Are you guys gonna get mad if they just give you keychains that year?
Oh my God, I'll be listen, Solana. I'm sorry, but like I need more than a keychain.
You want
I need more than a towel.
Chris wants a leather jacket in the 150-degree weather in Miami, baby. Let's go.
Yes.
Give us some leather jackets.
And we'll move on, but just real quick, just so you guys Google Oakland, well, I guess Las Vegas Raiders season ticket holder gifts. That team, that franchise does it better than anybody I've ever seen. They do an awesome job. We need something similar to that.
Yes,
All
absolutely. Right. And shout out to Art. Thank you for the super slam.
Yes,
much
thank you,
appreciated.
All right, so real quick, not too much time on Xavi, but everybody keeps saying Tata out, Tata out, Tata out. Me and Solana agree we want him to stay. Chris is on the I don't know. I think Chris is on the Tata out bandwagon also.
No, I'm okay with Tata. I mean, look, you expect sort of greatness. He hasn't really messed up royally, right? I mean, we're sitting at the top right now. You can't argue that.
Oh, real quick, I need to bring this up.
Yeah,
Francisco Garcia, beautiful comment. The best gift for ticket holders are decent prices
and better parking lot.
Xavi, look, everybody that says Tata out, we always ask, but who's going to come replace him? Everybody says Xavi. I don't think Xavi's coming. I think if anybody were to come, it would be Xavi this summer. If Tata were to somehow get fired, but I don't think Tata's going anywhere. So I just wanted to kill this rumor real quick. Do you guys think any chance Xavi comes this summer?
I don't think so.
No chance.
There's no way.
No chance. No way. Okay, so let's move on. Xavi's not coming.
He would have to plummet like Phil Neville plummet.
Now, I will give you a name, and then we can move on, of somebody who could come in 2026. And that's Pep Guardiola.
Pep ain't come to the United States, man. If he comes, it's to coach the national team. He's not coming to coach it to Miami.
Pep was at game 5 last night.
The Celtics.
That's right. He was. Now, and funny enough, they come party in Miami. They don't even like their own goddamn city. They come party in Miami. I mean,
who the hell wants to party in Boston?
You can't make it up, bro. You can't make it up.
Nobody wants to party in Boston.
The only people that love Boston are people from Boston.
My mom's in Boston right now at a conference, and I asked her, "Yo, mom, how crazy was it last night?" She goes, "I didn't hear anything. No police sirens, nobody yelling." I was like,
I saw.
They've won so many NBA championships. They don't really give a crap. They think that
they've won 13 since the 2000s. It's wild.
Yeah. So that means Guardiola to the New England Revolution confirmed. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Absolutely not. Nobody wants to go. All right, Di Maria. I think he's coming. A report said that he was coming in January. Some other ones said that he's coming in the summer. I think he's coming. I just don't know when. Solana, what do you think?
I think he's coming in the summer.
You think he's coming in the summer?
I do. So the last, and I know that hurts Chris so bad because, that could mean Taylor either goes or will get relegated to the bench. But I think he comes this summer. I think, he was, unless he gets a really lucrative offer, from Benfica, to stay there, I think he comes to Inter Miami. He wants to play with his buddy. And Inter Miami will make him a good offer, whether it's a DP offer or a TAM or whatever. They'll do something, and I think he comes. So the only other team that he was going to play for was Rosario Central, and they were kicked out of Copa Libertadores, and that was the main reason of him going back, was to play Copa Libertadores. So now since they're out, the two options are Benfica and Inter Miami. And again, reports say Inter Miami made some contacts. There's nothing official, but just the sides are talking.
Get that out of my face. That's all I got to say. Get that out of my face.
Look, I love Robert Taylor. I think Robert Taylor is not long for Inter Miami, unfortunately. I don't think
you in the face.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I do think Di Maria's coming. I mean, if Robert Taylor goes in the summer, I think Di Maria comes. That's honestly what I think. And we're going to get into that in a second also. All right, Nacho Libre. Let's see. Chris, Nacho, we need a center back. You know that's the focus right now. Do you think we're getting Nacho? I understand is that he's considering going to Saudi Arabia. They've offered him probably a boatload of money, or he's waiting for them to offer him a boatload of money. Chris, what do you think about Nacho?
I mean, look, we need center backs. So I'll take Nacho any day of the week at this point. I mean, why wouldn't you at the point where we're at right now with the center backs that we have? So Nacho is somebody that I think we need more than anything. Forget about all these other names. Give me Nacho.
What do you think, Solana?
I mean, of all the center backs that have been rumored to come to Inter Miami, obviously I think Nacho's the best one and the best option. I just think he's out of Inter Miami's price range. I think he's being wooed by the Saudi Arabian kings over there, and he's going to take the money. When somebody's dangling that type of cash, 40 million for 2 years. I mean, it's kind of tough to say no when in Inter Miami you're going to be making a few $100,000 or maybe a couple million. So it's kind of hard to say no to 40 million.
My thing with Nacho, and look, I know that he would be a great center back here, but when people were comparing him to, let's say, Varane, like I know Varane gets more injured, but Varane was an everyday starter. Like he started. Nacho wasn't. Nacho was on and off the bench. Like it was Varane, it was Pepe, it was Sergio Ramos. Nacho would come in, but like he wasn't a solidified center back on that team. This past year, he wasn't a starter all the time either. So I don't know. I like him. I think he would do great here. But for people that were killing Varane, but they're like, let's get Nacho instead, I don't get it. I think Varane is much better.
Yeah.
I think the reason why folks were saying that was because Nacho has also been able to play right back. So while he could play center back, one of the center back roles, he could also shift into that right back role and give Wiegand, a breather. While there's no chance you could see Varane playing right back. I mean, Varane's just too clumsy to play right back. So, and that's why, me personally, I prefer Nacho. Nacho's my number one. If I had to sign a center back this summer, Nacho's the guy. Just because I think he can fit two roles. He'll be very serviceable in the center back. And he was on the bench. So maybe he's got a few more miles left in his legs than Varane. Remember, Varane at Man U over the last couple of years has been pretty atrocious.
Look, and I agree with I agree with Tony Axe, where he said that Nacho's better because he's less injury prone. That I'll give you, and we'll get into Varane now. Varane is injured a lot more, and for somebody said that Nacho wouldn't come because he's a Madrista, Varane is also technically a Madrista, even though he spent the last couple seasons in Manchester United. But look, overall, I think Varane is better. But with our injury history, maybe I guess in that aspect, I would go Nacho. But I do think Nacho's going to end up in Saudi Arabia. So do you think Varane is an option? Because I don't think Nacho is. I don't think Nacho's coming.
I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze there.
Me either. Me either. I think there are probably better, cheaper options on the market for what you would get in that type of player.
For Varane?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are both saying no Nacho, no Varane.
I'll take a flyer on Nacho, but not on Varane.
Okay.
I don't think either comes.
I don't think either comes either. But if I could pick one, I would pick Varane. But I also don't think either one of them comes. All right, so I'm going to go to the next slide here. Now, the next slide might be surprising to some people.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that I've now heard from 2 places. And, well, I guess we'll get into it now. Solana, I don't know if you've heard a little bit about this also. Miles Robinson. I've heard from 2 different people that Inter Miami has contacted Cincinnati about acquiring Miles Robinson.
Yeah.
Now, the 2 different people gave me 2 different returns on what Cincinnati would possibly be asking for. One of them told me Robert Taylor and something else. So it would be Robert Taylor and possibly something else. The other person, well, the other person told me Toto Aviles would be the center of that deal, along with possibly Robert Taylor or something else. So conversations have been had between both teams.
We're blowing minds here.
Miles Robinson is a good player. Now, I would love, and we're going to have, oh my God, I just blanked on his name. I feel so bad. Justin. We're going to have Justin on here in a couple of weeks
Justin
to talk.
Blair.
Yeah, to talk Cincinnati in a week or 2. So I'm curious to see what he thinks of Miles Robinson. Now before I go on to you guys, a couple reasons why I think it's weird, because I trust the people that told me this, so I do think it's happened. But reasons I think that it's weird. One, I don't know why you would make a deal with the second best team that's right on your tail. Like, and I'm talking more Cincinnati than Miami. Like, why would Cincinnati help our biggest weakness? Like, I guess they feel maybe Robert Taylor. Why would you want Toto Aviles over Miles Robinson?
I'll tell you why. Toto Aviles is signed to a long-term deal. Miles Robinson is on a 1-year deal. He become a free agent at the end of next year. And Toto Aviles is a U22 player who signed for the long term and who you can make money off of. Miles Robinson is not somebody who you're going to invest and then sell for a lot of money. So if you're Cincinnati, you might be willing to gamble. And also, you have somebody at Cincinnati who was the ex-captain of Inter Miami, who could be in the ear of somebody over there to try to get a Taylor, to try to get somebody else. So, DeAndre Yedlin might be trying to cook like Chris Henderson's been cooking on this side. That's the only thing that I can think of, is that Miles Robinson's on that 1-year deal and Toto Aviles is long-term.
Let me tell you, I didn't consider that, Solana, but I can see that Yedlin is probably cooking to see if they can get Taylor over, because Taylor would be an awesome acquisition for FC Cincinnati.
What are the chances that Toto Aviles has absolutely no idea that in this league you can get traded?
Oh my goodness. I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
He has no idea that tomorrow he could wake up and randomly be like, yo, you got to go to Cincinnati.
You got to go to Cincinnati, Ohio, my friend.
Yeah.
You're Argentinian ass. Good luck, buddy.
Like, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we got little Solana up on the screen.
Yeah, we got a guest here. He doesn't want to go to bed. He wants to join the pod for a little bit. So we'll have him on for a few more minutes.
All good. So Solana, what are the chances that Toto has any idea that there's trading in the MLS?
God, man, if Toto ends up in Cincinnati, there's like a famous dish of like spaghetti and chili in Cincinnati. And I know that because my brother, Alex, who, when he worked for the Dolphins, he went and ate this chili with a poor guy, bro. That's all I got to know. This guy's used to asados and stuff, and he's going to go eat spaghetti with chili. Poor guy, dude. Poor guy.
Now remember, these conversations were had, but I'm sure conversations happen all the time. So who knows if this actually happens? Who knows if they ended up talking and things fell through, or they're like, you know what, this isn't going to work out. But those conversations apparently were had, and who knows? And if something were to happen, it couldn't happen until July anyway, because you can't trade until July. So we'll see. But yes, that is another option, because we're looking for options here at center back, and I thought that Miles Robinson would be an interesting one. I mean, pace-wise, it would help. Even if Toto Aviles isn't slow, because we'd be getting rid of Toto Aviles.
We'd essentially be replacing one for the other.
No, you know what? I think that Chris Henderson is probably like, nah, if that's what you're asking for, forget about it. We'll give you Robert Taylor or something else. But because what I heard was that's what Cincinnati want, not what Inter Miami was offering. That's what Cincinnati wants.
Yeah, but has Toto Aviles done a good enough job for you to say, like,
defensively? Yes.
Remember, Danny, Inter Miami's an all-in position right now. You've got Messi, you've got Suarez, you've got all the pieces in place. Like if you're a player or a defensive player away, even if that means sacrificing Toto Aviles, a player who you've invested in, you got to pull the trigger. Mm-hmm. And I think if looking at what Inter Miami could possibly do over the summer, if it's getting Miles Robinson and getting Gaston Silva, the Uruguayan from Mexico, then I think that's a great summer transfer window. I don't know about you. I mean, it's better than Kristoff and Saylor, who who's probably starting tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to put that out there just so you guys, get some. Nobody's really been talking about the possibility of Miles Robinson, and they've made contact. They've had conversations, so we'll see. All right, and then there's one more center back that nobody's talked about, and it's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to put it out there just because I was like, maybe. Here we go. Alejandro Frances. Now, 21 years old. He's going to play for the Spaniard Olympic team. Okay? He trained with the senior team last year. Now, why do I say this guy? We were talking about Raul how do you pronounce this guy's name? Raul Sanelli?
Sanlehi.
Sanlehi, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So, Raul Sanlehi. He just got here from Real Solana. Real what?
Real Zaragoza.
Zaragoza. Okay. My understanding is that Alejandro Frances is the best player from Real Zaragoza. He is a 21-year-old center back. So he is a 21-year-old center back, the best player in the second division team in Spain. There's a good chance if he comes from this team that Mr. Raul just came from and Jorge Mas owns, why wouldn't they try to pick this guy up and bring him over to Inter Miami to fill in that lead for at least the second half of the season?
Yeah, I mean, he's coming for a happy meal for sure. So that's what I see it.
This is a random just thought that I had. 21-year-old, obviously has a relationship with Raul. Jorge Mas owns his team. It's half a year left. He's about to go play in the Olympics for Spain. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe this is a random shot in the dark that I'm throwing out here. But look, we need help at center back. And Steve, when you're saying we need veteran center backs, I feel like we just need any center back at this point. I'll take him over a Saylor. I'll take him over an Allen. If he's
give me St. Francis. Yeah. Give me St. Francis, baby.
So again, I'm just throwing shit against the wall at this point. When I saw that their best player is a 20-year-old center back, I was like, maybe. So
well, Mr. Krabs is saying it. So go ahead, Solana. You were going to say?
No, all I'm saying is bring me St. Francis. I mean, you're talking about a guy who looks like he's in shape. He's been playing back to back. He's going to represent Spain. I'm not going to lie. I haven't watched anything of this guy. Normally, I'm the type of guy that keeps up with all the names and stuff. So you kind of pulled this one out of the hat for me, Danny. I had no idea you were coming out with this. So you killed me with St. Francis. But with everything that you're saying and everything that I'm reading that Inter Miami has on the roster, bring me St. Francis.
Bring him.
Now, it's not St. Francis of Assisi, so we're good. So just bring me St. Francis.
No, and like I said, I think that he would be a decent option because, like I said, he's young. You get him with a U22 initiative spot. I think he turns 22 in the next couple of weeks. But he's playing for the Spaniard Olympic team. He's trained with the senior team already. I mean, I think that this would be an interesting option. You know how sometimes you just randomly get a player from a second division. You're like, who the hell is this guy? Yeah. Hey, man, I see the connections. Why not? So that's just me throwing out there.
Hey, man, it is what it is. That would be a good acquisition, better than Kristoff at this point.
All right.
Hey, easy. You're going to start catching flack for not liking Ukrainians. Easy.
All right. And then people are asking for Sergio Ramos. Apparently, he might get crazy money from San Diego, so I don't think Inter Miami has any chance.
They're talking about $12 million a year for him. $12 million a year for a 38-year-old.
I've told everybody he's my favorite player of all time. I would not give that guy $12 million, especially not right now. So all right, and then I wanted to end it off with this right here. Funko figures. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, these figures are very expensive. They've been promoting them. If you want to get one of the pink togetherness kits, $65. La Noche kit, which is only Messi that sells in La Noche kit, $85. And they're selling a 4-pack of minifigures for $120. These are expensive figures.
Yeah.
But I think it took a while for them. They don't have any Funko Pops, nothing. I think that they've taken a while to kind of promote these things.
Would you buy it, Danny? Would you purchase this $120 4-pack minifigures? Because you have a little display back there.
Not for that much money, but for the people that are wondering what size they are, I have a Kevin Durant one that I got when Kevin Durant first signed with the Brooklyn Nets, and it's not tiny. It's a decent size.
That's
it's a bobblehead.
It's a pretty big bobblehead.
So it's this size. I don't know if you guys can kind of tell, like,
but guys,
size of my head.
You gotta actually, like, you gotta think about it. Do I pay for one ticket to go watch Messi, or do I pay for 4 Foco big heads and just watch Messi and just like move his head? That's what you got. That's basically what you got to ask yourself.
I don't know, man. I like collecting.
This is the type of but this is the type of stuff they should be giving the season ticket holders.
Yes,
this is the type of stuff.
Yes,
not keychains, not jackets, but this type of stuff. Memorabilia, something that you can remember. You know, the great times that you spent with your family at the stadium, you know, with the team and all that, or the crappy times. Because I would love to have a Pizarro Foco big head and remember the terrible times that he gave us for 3 years. But I would love to have the Messi one too, but I'm not paying $65.
Well, I think bobbleheads are a really good gift for people that are going to the games, honestly.
I agree, man. I think it's cool to have it like on display. Like I would have all of them displayed back here, but they really should do it as a giveaway. I didn't even thought of that. That's a great idea. But I did want to put it out there in case anybody is a fan of those. Those are the prices. And my understanding is if you pre-order it now, you will get it before December 31st. So you get to wait quite a while to get them. Well, who's the worst one?
I think the worst one is Jordi Alba. No, I think Jordi Alba, because the one all the way on the right, I think that's Jordi Alba. It actually looks more like Wagon.
Well, all the way on the left, Busquets, that doesn't look anything like Busquets.
It kind of does.
Nah,
it kind of does.
Dude, the guy, like Suarez, looks nothing like Suarez. Who is that guy? Who is that guy?
They should have given bigger teeth.
I
mean, I guess,
but it looks nothing like Suarez, bro. Nothing.
I guess if one of them looks like themselves, I guess the closest one is Messi. But I wouldn't.
You can't get that.
You only the right one, not the La Noche kit. The La Noche kit, he looks kind of weird, bro. I don't know.
He does look kind of weird.
His right eye is looking at me so weird. It honestly, it freaks me out a little bit.
Well,
look at the right eye, bro. Look at the right eye.
No, he doesn't look a little cockeyed, but I'm sure they'll fix that before they ship it out. I don't know. But yeah. All right. Well, that was it for episode number 200. All the news updates and everything that's happened over the last week, rumors that we wanted to kind of touch on that we haven't touched on yet. Anything else here, guys, that you want to touch on before you head out of here? Solana.
Nah, bro, just welcome back, dude. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you had a great vacation, well deserved, and thank you for anointing me for Tuesdays. We'll do a little battered herons, diesel Dani, a little bit of everything, bro. I know you want to talk. You want to talk Copa America, so maybe we could talk Copa America next Tuesday.
Oh, well, we're gonna be doing a lot of Copa America talk because I mean, there's not a lot of Inter Miami games from here until.
Oh,
I mean,
really, and Soccer Daddy actually mentioned it, Copa preview. So if you guys,
on
in the
Thursday,
chat, but if you guys in the chat, obviously, if you haven't yet, I dropped on my Instagram and on my TikTok a little preview of Copa America, and I'll be doing a kind of like a little Copa America series, 30 to 60-second videos every morning before a Copa America game, match day. I'll be dropping a little bit of a summary of the previous day's games and a little bit of a preview of the current day's game. So, follow me on Instagram and TikTok for that.
And then on Thursday at 7 o'clock, I don't know if Solana will be able to join us on Thursday at 7, but we're going to be doing a Copa preview in English. And at 10 o'clock, we'll be talking Copa at 10 o'clock after the Argentina game is over at 10 o'clock in Espanol. So Thursday would be a lot of Copa talk. So look out for that. And then tomorrow, our post game after the game.
You guys be at the game? Both of you
Yes,
going?
I'm gonna be at the game.
I'll be
hope
there.
to.
I will
hope
be
to
there,
go.
and I will be with my brand new Uruguay flag that I will be taking to all the Copa America games. I will be putting up where I'm sitting, so you guys will be able to maybe point me out. It's big, man. I didn't think it was that big. It's nice.
Will they let you in the stadium with it?
They better.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
They've been weird
Just
about
put it in your pocket. They don't check pockets. You could take a rocket launcher.
It's not gonna fit in his pocket.
Not
He just
gonna
said
fit
it's
in my
huge.
pocket. Yeah.
Put it in your pants. Put it inside your pants. You're good. You're good.
That'll be okay. You know, nobody would argue with that one.
I mean, because attendance probably isn't going to be that great, I'm sure that they'll probably let you in with it. I don't think attendance is going to be that great tomorrow night.
Well, we'll all sit together. I'll invite you to my seats. I'm sitting behind Tata.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, I like my seats.
Thank you to Dremundo, by the way. Thank you to Dremundo from the Discord for hooking it up with the tickets. He hooked me up with the tickets for this game. So thank you so much to Dremundo for the hookup.
Shout out Dremundo and shout out to the Discord. I have to send out the link again. I haven't sent it out in a while for you guys to join the Discord. All right. Any final words, Chris?
Look, I'm just happy to be here to do the 200th episode. It's been a climb that we've made, and we've been doing really well, working together very well. And the other name that I mentioned earlier, which was Vice City Lucas, other than Don Cafecito, I want to give both of you guys a special round of applause because you guys have been in it since our first live. So much love to you guys and a number of other people that I haven't seen get on. But listen, all of you guys that are in the chat, all of you guys that are watching, it's so appreciated that you guys hang out with us, whether you like or don't like. Obviously, you know, we love to have you guys involved in the show, and it's a phenomenal thing. We have a blast doing this. So thank you guys so much. And, you know, to another 100 we go.
And Skrill is asking Panthers or Oilers tonight. I honestly think it's going to go 7 games. Honestly, I think I do. I think it's going to go 7 games.
I got money on the Cats tonight. I got Cats and the over. Let's go.
I think Game 3, the way that the Oilers almost came back to tie that game, and then putting up 8 goals in Game 4, I think that it's a bit of momentum going, and I think that they feel confident. The way Game 3 ended and the way Game 4 went, I feel like they feel confident. They feel like we can beat this team. And can they do it 4 games in a row? I doubt it, but I don't think that they finish it tonight. I think that it goes at least 6 or 7.
Sounds like a sour Rangers fan to me. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I will admit I usually root. I don't know if anybody saw the clip when we first started the episode. You see how on the bottom of here it says Daniel at Batter Fans. You'll see that episode 1 it says the 6th borough. Right? I used to call myself the 6th borough because I root for all New York and Miami teams, except for the Dolphins. I don't root for the Dolphins. But all other Miami teams I root for. But I'm having a hard time rooting for the Panthers right now. I'll be admitted. I'm still a little sour about them eliminating the Rangers just a week or 2 ago. So, yes, I am a little sour. Any final thoughts, Solana?
No final thoughts, man. Again, thank you guys for having me on and for giving me the opportunity to hang out with you guys, dude. I love it. You guys are family, man, not just friends. So I appreciate it.
The Battered Fam grows. All right. If you are on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that other good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And for those of you in the chat, please like before you log off of here. And as always, you guys are the best part of the show. We appreciate it. 200 episodes in, and we wouldn't have gotten this far without you guys. We appreciate you. We're trying to give out more content. We're going to be on here 6 or 7 times a week in English and Spanish combined from now on. So we hope that you guys keep hanging with us and keep having fun with us. We appreciate you guys, and we'll be back tomorrow night for the post game. So until the next one, have a good one.